Hi, my name is Pyra, and it's a pleasure to be exhibiting at Bluerock Gallery. I started off as an abstract artist, but in time I became more interested in spiritualism. And I started painting night scenes when I was thinking about how the material world can be dissolved through light. When you walk the streets, especially in the city at night, you're no longer aware of a physical presence of buildings, cars, or trees, so much as the presence of light. From there I started thinking about expanding my interest in spiritualism and practice in spiritualism. And this led me to think of life as being a journey. There's no particular destination. And I thought long and hard about a metaphor for that. I settled on the idea that we are all travelers. We're a very mobile society here in Canada, or Alberta. And so I started thinking about representing people generally, or myself, my wife, as going down Alberta highways and seeing these buildings. And the highways are really interesting because you mostly see light in towns, but otherwise it's completely black. There is no separation of ground from sky, it's all one. I think there is a great deal of isolation or loneliness among people in the cities, even though they're living together. So the fact that I'm painting people or buildings in the dark of night so suggests that loneliness, that basically we're still spirits, single spirits traveling on this journey which is life. The lifespan of this exhibition is several years. I don't paint for an exhibition. I think that if you start painting just for an exhibition, it tends to have a finality to it, and the idea is that, for me anyways, is that one work will lead to something else. Again, the painting is also a journey. I want something which is a continuum, so you are having part of this continuum. When people come to my show, I hope that they're going to have a little bit of a sense of an alternative reality. I hope that I'm going to distill a sense of harmony or perfection from these buildings or people or restaurants which are very transitory. I want you to be able to observe them as objects of beauty. It's very hard for me to predict the direction of my work and to say I will finish this and then end up here, say 3 years from now. It's just, the creative act just doesn't work like that. You've got to follow your own inner urges. I started painting duck decoys. My dad had black duck decoys, so I'd take red or green paint and just paint on those. And I remember being completely delighted winning my first art contest in grade 1. I won, I remember, I think, an O. Henry chocolate bar. And I took as many art classes as I could possibly do after school. I could not get enough of anything to do with art. And that's continued now 50 years later, and hopefully it'll continue for the rest of my life. I am tremendously excited about the idea of creativity, because you are working on developing your inner self, your spiritual self, your emotional, intellectual self. I find that art, or creativity in general, is extremely challenging, so I am constantly encouraging other artists to develop their inner self through their creativity, and that can take whatever form. It could be furniture making, embroidery, quilt making, gardening. Those to me are all creative aspects, and related to that, they're all a search for beauty and perfection. Thank you for listening, and it's wonderful that you're here. The gallery is beautiful. It's in a wonderful location. I'll be happy to talk with anyone attending the exhibition and just try and communicate about my paintings, because I believe strongly also that an artist should communicate about their inner self. It's not just a visual expression. Thank you again.